We live in a culture obsessed with dieting, weight loss, and exercise, and that can make eating disorder behaviors easy to miss. But the reality is, eating disorders are serious mental illnesses that take a major toll on your health and your life. But recovery is possible. Eating disorders are more common than you might think. Chances are you know someone who is struggling with one, or maybe you're struggling yourself. If you're concerned about an eating disorder in yourself or a loved one, I want to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual, evidence-based eating disorder treatment program that helps patients achieve lasting recovery at home. Every Equip patient is matched with a multidisciplinary care team that includes a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors. And you get a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Equip treats patients of all ages and all eating disorder diagnoses. It's covered by insurance, and there's no wait list. If you think that you or a loved one could be struggling with an eating disorder, don't wait to get help. Visit equip.health to learn more. That's equip.health.
In a world where January is supposed to be boring, one staple of the holidays refuses to end. The great deals at Verizon. The joy just keeps on coming. Right now, you can save on 4 new phones and 4 lines. Critics agree it's the deal that keeps on giving. Come into Verizon and save on 4 new phones and 4 lines on unlimited welcome. Additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Grrr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
In a world where January is supposed to be boring, one staple of the holidays refuses to end. The great deals at Verizon. The joy just keeps on coming. Right now, you can save on 4 new phones and 4 lines. Critics agree it's the deal that keeps on giving. Come into Verizon and save on 4 new phones and 4 lines on unlimited welcome. Additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
We live in a culture obsessed with dieting, weight loss, and exercise, and that can make eating disorder behaviors easy to miss. But the reality is, eating disorders are serious mental illnesses that take a major toll on your health and your life. But recovery is possible. Eating disorders are more common than you might think. Chances are you know someone who is struggling with one, or maybe you're struggling yourself. If you're concerned about an eating disorder in yourself or a loved one, I want to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual, evidence-based eating disorder treatment program that helps patients achieve lasting recovery at home. Every Equip patient is matched with a multidisciplinary care team that includes a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors. And you get a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Equip treats patients of all ages and all eating disorder diagnoses. It's covered by insurance, and there's no wait list. If you think that you or a loved one could be struggling with an eating disorder, don't wait to get help. Visit equip.health to learn more. That's equip.health.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Whispering Woods Reddit and listener story episode. I have got 5 Reddit stories to share today, and I want to give a quick warning for the 4th story because it does mention drug taking. So it's nothing in depth, it is nothing explicit, but you may not want any children to listen to that one. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the first story? Me and my sibling had the same sighting 25 years ago. and we still remember it today consistently. I wanted to share it with you all because we've had the same exact story. Even though we are grown, have families now, etc., so it's a good one to read, I'm sure. Me and my sister were around 5 years old, and Mum had tucked us in for the night. She left and went to her own room, so we would be the kids we are and stay up and talk. About an hour later, Mum came into the room, telling us to get to sleep. But she looked different and was just staring at us, stood at the end of the bed. We called out, "Mum, what are you doing?" And we heard my mum's voice come from her room, yelling, "What?" And the woman at the end of the bed was still stood staring. My sister screamed like I'd never heard before, and then we both started screaming for my mum to come in. And she ran in, turned the light on, and nothing was there. Me and my sister both remember exactly what this woman looked like. She looked similar to Mum, but different presence. I'm actually shaking writing this because it still scares me as a 30-year-old man. The thing I remember most vividly were the eyes, like it was really staring at us. They were so wide open and horrifying. Doppelgänger mums are terrifying because your mum is meant to be trusted, the person that you turn to, as well as your dad, obviously. I've noticed it tends to be the mum that's seen as the doppelganger, and I'm wondering what kind of energy is going on there, because it tends to be, like I said, the mum of the family who appears as a doppelganger. That really is quite freaky. Because to me, I mean, I was brought up with my mum. Like, we were, back in the day, a single parent household, and this would have been back in the 70s, 80s. So quite unusual. So I can only sort of really go from my experience, and to have my mum, a doppelganger of her, it just, no, I can't bear it. Are you ready for the second story? The Devil in the Woods. This is a series of encounters, experiences really, that have been passed down from generation to generation in the rural mountain community here in my neck of the woods. Everyone knows about it. Everyone has experienced it, even if some haven't spoken of it. In my part of the world, where my father and his family have grown up, there are many ghost stories and unexplained creatures roaming the deep hollows and woods. However, one has always intrigued me above them all. I came across the story on a local ghost sighting website made in the early 2000s. Many local legends and ghost stories have been submitted there for all to read. But one has always stuck with me. It goes like this. Whenever you are walking anywhere on the rural road in this part of the area, you will always hear someone or something walking directly next to you deep in the woods, opposite the road. If you stop, it stops. If you keep walking, it will go at exactly the same pace as you, and will even mimic your steps. Many locals have experienced this, and it is incredibly eerie. Since the first time I saw the report, I was immediately hooked, and growing up, I would always ask around and tell some of my family and other members who live in that part of the area about the story. And they all said the same thing. It was the devil, or some other form of demonic entity. Some even had similar encounters. My uncle, who would go out late at night hunting coons and other wild small animals, had a very frightening experience when he was out one particular night. The moon barely illuminated the trees around him, and he had a pack of hunting dogs, each loyal to him, no matter the odds. But this one particular night, something had them spooked. They heard or saw something in the darkness and wouldn't go any further into the forest. My uncle tried everything he could to make them go deeper, but they just froze in place. My uncle, with rifle in hand, examined the area, still not seeing or hearing anything. However, the dogs definitely did. They started to cower in fear. And as soon as they did, my uncle heard something, moving rather quickly through the brush around him, almost circling him, as if to trap him. He knew whatever it was wasn't something to be messed with, especially being an old man out alone. So he immediately began backtracking to the house. The dogs followed behind him quickly, but whatever it was began quickly following him from the back, staying in the blackness of the woods around him. He started picking up the pace, and so did it. And finally, feeling frightened by whatever it was, he started running as quickly as he could towards home. The thing started running after him and his dogs all the way to the clearing of his property, before finally stopping its relentless pursuit. My uncle ran inside and locked all the doors and windows, never stepping foot back outside until morning. I have asked many people about the encounter, and all backed up each other, even my grandmother, who was his sister, who remembered my uncle telling them about the incident later that next day, still shaken from the experience. Another story that came up when I asked around was from my mother, whose family friend lived in an old house deep in the middle of the woods years ago. She told me that he always loved the peace and quiet and tranquility, but things were not as they appeared. She talked to me about remembering as a child the man coming to see my grandmother in the mornings, sitting down for a cup of coffee, looking very tired and lacking any sleep, looking as if he hadn't slept in days or weeks even. She recalled the man after being asked by my grandmother what was going on, that he talked about a demon inhabiting the house, rattling the windows, shaking the house to its foundations, late at night throwing plates and forks, furniture, and the front door slamming open and closed. He talked about how it always happened late at night, and he could never get rest because it never let him sleep. This went on for many months, maybe even longer. However, things came to a head late one night, when the entity took its torment to the limits, attempting to inflict injury, even death, upon him, and throwing glass plates towards his head. He had nowhere to run, being so deep inside the woods. But the man was of Christian faith and knew of the power of prayer against such beings. He got down on his knees and began chanting and denouncing the demonic presence in the name of Jesus Christ, and to leave him alone and leave his house. The entity, obviously, being extremely angered by this, began breaking and throwing even more things inside the home, prompting the man to run outside and into the deep forest, hoping to find a road to leave the area on. Finally, after hours of running, he found one and used it to walk all the way to my grandmother's house early the next morning, where he explained to her the incident just the previous night. He mentioned how, running through the woods, he could hear the demon chasing him through the night, never stopping its pursuit until he reached the road. But even then, he recalls how he could hear it following alongside him, deep in the wood line. Oh, I love this. A devil in the woods. And I love that they're called hollers as well. I love that. I think I'm guessing that this is probably like the Appalachians somewhere or something. And I love it because there are so many stories around that type of place. And I want to go there. And I want everybody to tell me their stories so I can just sit there and absorb all of them. Are you ready for the third story? The anklet outside the door. So I'm from India, and my grandma once told me this story that still freaks me out. Back in the 1900s, my grandma used to live in a huge ancestral home in Tamil Nadu. People generally lived in these massive joint family homes, like 15 people under one roof. The kind of old school houses with tiled roofs, an open courtyard in the middle, and doors with those little gaps at the bottom to let the air through. It was a cultural thing. All the women in the family wore anklets that made this soft jingling sound when they walked. It's important for this story. Anyway, my grandma was around 15 at the time. One night, she and her siblings were getting ready to sleep when they heard the sound of anklets outside their room. They thought it was their mum or aunt checking something, so my grandma went to look. But the corridor was completely empty. She just figured they went back to bed. A while later, she heard it again. This time it stopped right outside their door. She bent down to peek through the gap under the door, but there was nobody there. She got scared and woke up her sister. Her sister was the brave one. She just opened the door to check. Nothing. Empty hallway. They shut the door, tried to sleep again, and then the sound came back. Slower. Closer. Both of them froze. They decided to look under the door one more time. And this time, they saw someone staring back at them. They screamed so loud that the whole house woke up. Their parents came running, and what's weird is they actually believed them. In those days, people were big on spirits and omens. The next morning, their father planted a neem tree outside the house because it's supposed to ward off evil. My grandma told me this story when I was a kid, and it gave me nightmares for days. She's in heaven now, watching over me and keeping all the evil spirits away. That was freaky. That really was freaky. To have it looking under the door, whatever it was. That is, no, I really can. Are you ready for the fourth story? I remember dying. The majority of you are going to discredit me because of how this happened, but I don't really care. I remember dying about 7 years ago, after I ate a few grams of psilocybin mushrooms on an afternoon off alone at my house. I don't know if they happened to just be super strong, but this is ultimately what I remember. And it's one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Yet simultaneously, it was terrifying. We'll cut to the chase. Basically, I went to my bedroom after shimmering golden hieroglyphics covered the surface of all of my apartment. My spirit started to leave my body. I was floating a few feet in front of myself, and when I laid down on my bed, I knew I must have eaten the wrong type of mushrooms or something, because this was just way too intense. I started having visions of hell, and I was being chewed up by a beast, and I knew that this was the end. There was no way I could survive. I was in its jaws and I was powerless. I remember thinking about how stupid I was for ever eating them in the first place, and how my whole family and friends were going to find my dead body. I held on for as long as I could, but eventually I just couldn't take it anymore and let myself die. At that moment, a bright white light took over me. It erased me. I wasn't really a thing anymore, and all that existed was dazzling platinum, radiating light. I was nothing and everything, to be and not to be at the same time. When I returned back to my body, I was ecstatic that I was in my body again. But I also couldn't remember who I was. All I knew was that I somehow survived the hellfire beast that was chewing me up, and I was given a second chance. I felt the presence of my mum, who died in 2014, as if she returned back with me. Or maybe the energy of death, which is the light, which is her, which is all of us, is now with me. I now know what she experienced when she died, and I am no longer quite as scared. Dying is rubbish, but being dead is amazing. Hang on for however long as you want or need, but you have nothing to fear of the afterlife. It's nothing but light and liberation. On sunny days, I always think about how the dead are always with us. I thought there was something a bit comforting about this, that we are all energy, we are all stardust, and I liked it. And I thought, I want to share this because sometimes we need to hear something like this, so it makes everything a little less scary. Are you ready for the fifth and final story? The farmhouse. I'll start by saying I do believe in the paranormal and have for most of my life. I've had multiple experiences, and this is probably the most terrifying one. This was years ago, and I was around 18 or 19 at the time. My girlfriend's, now ex's, family had owned a farmhouse out of town, a ways from where we lived. It had been in their family for a while. It was just a house in the woods. It sat on a little pond, but other than that, it was just trees all surrounding the house. It was old and kind of falling apart, but the family kept it alive, and it was mainly where they would stay and go during the winter to go hunting. My girlfriend's family often let her go to the farmhouse with friends and throw parties, or would let her brother and his friends go there and do what country boys do. I had been to the farmhouse a good many times at this point and didn't have much to be afraid of. My girlfriend did once tell me a story about one time she was there with her friends and they did a Ouija board session and spooky stuff happened. She said after that she didn't go to the farmhouse for a few years because she was too scared. Eventually, she started going back, and nothing had happened since, so she thought it was fine. I never really believed her story, even though I believe in the paranormal. Ouija boards, I was always sceptical of. There was only one thing I didn't like about the farmhouse: the hallway and the back bedrooms. The hallway led to the back bedrooms and also led to the bathroom. For some reason, I just always had gotten a bad vibe from the hallway and bedrooms. It just wasn't right. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'd often just opt to go pee outside in the middle of the night, in the creepy pitch black woods, just so I didn't have to go into the hallway. Now, one time, I was there with my girlfriend and her brother and her brother's 2 friends, so 5 of us in total. Her brother and his friends were super chill country boys. They know how to have a good time. They were there to hunt, but when they came back, we would all hang out, drink, smoke, play games, etc. I also want to say that these 3 dudes are all heavy Christian. and do not believe in the paranormal. It's night time, and we're all in the living room. And we have a sheet up that we're using a projector to cast up Mario Kart on. We're all playing in the living room, when all of a sudden, we all hear a thunderous crash. Felt like you could feel it in your chest. We all shot up, and were all a little spooked. We deduced that the sound definitely came from the back bedrooms. We had thought a tree had fallen down onto the house. This happened to them before, to one of the sheds that was on the property. So we didn't think much of it. We all go to the back bedrooms, and the first two are normal. But we get to the one in the very back, and everything in the room was thrown to the right side of the room and wall. The rooms were decently bare, but had a queen bed, 2 dressers, a recliner, and a couple of lamps. The rooms were always just set and ready for anyone who needed to sleep there. All of that was thrown against the wall, the bed almost vertical with the wall, as well as the chair and dressers. We saw that, and all the blood left my face, and had the biggest chill down my spine. The room was completely fine before. It was the room her brother usually claimed, and he had put his stuff in the room just hours before, and it was all normal. After that, we all literally booked it out, snatched the essentials, and got the heck out of there. Her brother never got to get his bag, but it didn't seem like he cared. We went back to my girlfriend's house to tell her parents, but they were pretty religious. They wouldn't hear it. My girlfriend and brother begged their dad to go check it out. It was pretty regular that the dad would go to the farmhouse to do work and regular maintenance checks. So he said he would go in a few days. The few days go by and he drives down to check it out, comes back and reports that nothing was out of place. The room was completely normal. Nothing out of place. And her brother's bag was sitting on the end of the bed. Their dad was annoyed with us, saying we were just doing some stupid prank. Needless to say, I never went back there.
In a world where January is supposed to be boring, one staple of the holidays refuses to end. The great deals at Verizon. The joy just keeps on coming. Right now, you can save on 4 new phones and 4 lines. Critics agree it's the deal that keeps on giving. Come into Verizon and save on 4 new phones and 4 lines on unlimited welcome. Additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
We live in a culture obsessed with dieting, weight loss, and exercise. And that can make eating disorder behaviors easy to miss. But the reality is, eating disorders are serious mental illnesses that take a major toll on your health and your life. But recovery is possible. Eating disorders are more common than you might think. Chances are you know someone who is struggling with one. Or maybe you're struggling yourself. If you're concerned about an eating disorder in yourself or a loved one, I want to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual, evidence-based eating disorder treatment program that helps patients achieve lasting recovery at home. Every Equip patient is matched with a multidisciplinary care team that includes a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors. And you get a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Equip treats patients of all ages and all eating disorder diagnoses. It's covered by insurance, and there's no wait list. If you think that you or a loved one could be struggling with an eating disorder, don't wait to get help. Visit equip.health to learn more. That's equip.health.
I did wonder if perhaps the dad, when he went to check and everything was back to normal, maybe he had an inkling that whatever happened wasn't a prank, but he didn't want to feed into it. Because I think that's what I would do. In all truthfulness, if my children if something happened like this to my children, I'm not sure that I would give into it and say, yeah, yeah, I'm with you. We're going to sell up. Because once you've admitted that something's happened, you'd have no choice really, would you? You'd have to do some work. You'd have to get an exorcist in, or you'd have to sell it or something. And it all involves too much work for me. So I think I'd just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's just the mood I am at the moment. Because you should always listen to your kids. But I might be like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Just leave it, all right? I've got enough to do. Well, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
In a world where January is supposed to be boring, one staple of the holidays refuses to end. The great deals at Verizon. The joy just keeps on coming. Right now, you can save on 4 new phones and 4 lines. Critics agree it's the deal that keeps on giving. Come into Verizon and save on 4 new phones and 4 lines on unlimited welcome. Additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles Mackenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.